Welcome to the very first episode of At the Catch. My name is Brian Payne, although many of you know me by my Ergatta rival name, House of Payne. You might be wondering, why are you starting a podcast? Do we really need another place to debate how much water's in your tank? Or which way is the seat supposed to go? I assure you, this podcast is going to be very different. As the name implies, we are at the catch, at the beginning of our stroke. We're just getting started with our journey. When I say we, I mean you and me and all the people that make up this community of indoor rowing enthusiasts. My vision for this podcast is to share your stories, share your goals, and share your accomplishments. I started rowing back in 2017. I bought that rowing machine right there after seeing one in a house of cards. I needed a way to get in a quick workout in between my daytime job and my other job of coaching my boys' Little League baseball games. Well, that mission was accomplished, but I had no idea how rowing would change my life in so many different ways. We'll save that story for another day. I want to hear from you and share your stories. How has rowing changed your life? Did it help you recover from an injury, lose weight, cross-train for another sport or an event? Or did you just see an ad and decide to jump right in? I've got some really interesting people with great stories lined up. I hope you enjoy this first episode and that you keep coming back. Today, we'll meet with an incredible member of the Ergatta community that is already pretty well known. He's accomplished some pretty ridiculous numbers and has agreed to take a break from rowing and share his story with us. Here we go. Here we go. Well, welcome to At the Catch. This is the inaugural episode, and we're kicking off with our special guest, Steve, also known as Stick on the Ergatta platform. I'm going to just turn over the mic to you, Steve, right away and let you tell us a little bit about you.
Um, I was born right here in Central Ohio. Didn't have the greatest childhood. Went to a lot of different schools because I got kicked out of a lot of them. Went in the Marine Corps right after graduating from high school. So my best friend and I decided we were going to go into that. So I went into that right away. And it was really good for me. It helped me a lot because I had issues they helped straighten out. Within 4 years, got to go to Vietnam, 69 and 70. Then got out. And I used the VA. And when I graduated from high school, I think I was 209 at class of 210. I didn't go to school much. So I went to college and, I'd matured a lot. And I was able to get my undergraduate in 3.5 years and cum laude. And then I went and got a master's degree. My undergraduate was in accounting. So I became an accountant. Worked a lot of places. Probably the most famous is at the Limited. And I worked in Shanghai, Taipei, many, many cities, opening up new ones because I got in the beginning when they were a small $500 million company. So I spent a lot of time there. And then finally, I worked my way into the not-for-profit world and retired as a vice president CFO of a $50 million healthcare company a couple years ago. And that's pretty much it. I'm married. I have 3 kids. I've been married 55 years. I have 3 kids, 4 grandkids.
Wow. And some dogs running around in the background.
Yeah, I got some doodles. I got 3 doodles. They only row. One of them lays right underneath, but I hope it never collapses.
So tell us about the name Stick. How did your username become Stick?
Well, they gave me that Marine Corps boot camp. When I in the Marine Corps, was right out of high school. I was 6'1", and weighed 150 pounds. And they gave me the name Stick. And then in Vietnam, it stuck with me because I always had a stick of C4 on me. And then when I got on Vietnam in 70, I got into biker work pretty heavy, which had downside. So, I've been on holidays for over 50 years. It's like, it's like you take off to go bicycle riding all over the country in the summer. I see that. And I used to do that, riding the torso and all that stuff. But I switched to motorcycles. So it's like you in June and July and most of August, I didn't even see Ergatta because I was out riding across the country in the Rocky on my motorcycle. So I'm in a big motorcycle association. We have annual events all over the country. Last year's in Colorado Springs, before that, Sheraton, Wyoming. So we get a chance to ride as a large group and see each other. So it's kind of fun.
Okay, there's a pro tip for people out here listening. If you want to catch up with Stick, wait for the summer, put on the big mileage.
That's right. I haven't run in summer.
So how did you find rowing?
Well, after retired, I bought a new house and I was working on it, but I noticed that I was putting a lot of weight when I used to work 60-hour weeks. I wasn't doing it. So I jumped to 265. So I said, well, and I was exercising and working out, but I said, man, I'm still gaining weight. I don't have the best diet, I reckon. So I started looking around at things I could do. And one of my issues is I've always had ADD, so I lose interest in things pretty quick. So I started to look at different avenues, what might be the best for me. Again, I bicycled a lot too, but got away from that. So I looked at, you know, some of the bicycles and I said, that I never ride bicycles, didn't do a lot for my upper body at all. So I said, maybe I'll try to. So I read a lot and said, hey, rowing does 85% of your body mass workout. I said, okay. So I said, I think that's the way to go. So I started looking at rowers, went around a couple gyms, tried the concept. Uh, and obviously it was the standard. Anybody was rolling on that. Or, it's just too loud for banning that stuff. And the resistance, I said, I'm in a house. I don't want to interrupt everybody else or rowing. So I went away from that. So, I looked at all of them at the time. I looked at the hydro and I wasn't real keen on the mechanism to set it electronically on the resistance and all that stuff. So I just kept looking at a bunch of them. And then finally I found the water rower. And I liked the water rower, but I knew that little metric screen wasn't going to, I would just die. I would lose interest up because I just need something to keep attached. So I kept looking and then I came across the Ergatta. And I talked to a couple people that even upgraded from that rower beforehand. And they said, oh, yeah, it's a big difference. So um, I looked at Ergatta, talked to him a bunch of times, and I really liked, there's a couple things I like, which some people don't like. Number one, I liked that there wasn't any coaching involved. And then have somebody come over and screen tell me, keep it up, real fast, young. I didn't want that. Okay. It's just not me. I wanted something that was engaging and that option, like, the games they have, the media row outs, the push row outs, the racing, and they obviously didn't have live racing yet, but the racing, and I just thought it was a good medium. Some of the open rows were limited, of course, but I thought it was good. And then I got involved in the community before I got the rower. And, most of us are in tons of groups on Facebook. I know I'm in lots of them because of motorcycle. And it's got to be the large stereo negativity one could ever experience in most groups. I mean, you just always ask a question, you're getting slammed because it's stupid or ignorant or how long you've been around. But Ergatta, I can say, it just hasn't been that experience. I don't know that I've ever heard of one that was slamming somebody. So I really liked it that it was challenging because I'm kind of a competitive kind of guy and I saw all this stuff going on. It's like I could see there was pretty much broken down into several groups. There was these sprinter guys who are cranking out, 106, 107, 108. Must have a motor on that though. So I saw that group. I said, I'm old. I'll be 76 my birthday. I don't have that staring up. I'm not going to kill myself. So then I looked at other stuff. It was probably a week I came across the leaderboard and looked at it. I remember there was a Gym 1 row up there. So he was drawing 25,000 a day. And I said, gee, that's amazing. So I got a hold of him. How you doing this? Well, I just doing an open rows, put Netflix on. A lot of guys don't. I said, okay. So I just kept asking people. And then I ran across Michael with all his data. And he was in there before me. So I started asking him some things. He was a real rower. So I knew he'd have some input. And then I saw some stuff of yours and I watched all the dark horse and all that stuff. And I said, okay, that's it. I'm going with the Ergatta because it has what I need. So I went with it and I started rowing in January 26th of 2022. And I look back and I think it was an exceptional purchase and value. I mean, outside of times I take both to summer, there's never a week buy a row, at least 5 days a week. So I'm not hanging my clothes on it. So it's been a good value. And I did some things added to it, like added your straps, which make a day and night the difference. My feet were always even though I don't put a lot of stress on it. So I didn't like that. I put the wider handle on, which was better for me. And also because I had some trouble getting up sometimes, I put the feet on it. So I made it a little higher. So I do a couple little things like that just to make it my row or invest for me, and it's really beneficial. And then it wasn't long before I started looking for a couple cushions because once I started running some distance, I said, "Oh, this seat's really hard." I tried it both ways, like everybody does, and I believe it the way. And when they assemble it, they put it on backwards. I told us backwards. No, no, I showed it. So I turned it around, the lumps in the front. So I tried all that and just zoned in then, and started. I didn't know anything about rowing. I had never rowed before. So I watched a lot of the Black Horse videos and a lot of other videos. I did startups Ergatta had, but I just really did those, got a metronome on my phone and, tried to learn how to do a steady pace. I had some back issues. So at first I wore a kidney belt like I did on the motorcycle because I go to chiropractor every week. So, I said, okay. So I did that and then I just started, talk to people, listen to people on the Facebook site. A lot of people offer information and stuff. You were obviously offering information stuff. And so I watched that stuff. So, okay, and incorporated what I could into my style and tried to make sure I had a decent stroke and they just, started putting up meters.
And a lot of them.
Well, like a lot of people, I started out, at class 11
Wow.
and then I went to, a 10, and then I went to a 7, and then a 6, and then a 5, and then a 4, and then I got COVID. And I've never been I was stronger 8 months ago and faster, a lot faster than I am now. I've never recovered from that because of that shingles, bacterial infection. I got a lot of stuff in the keep at the same time. So I had to recalibrate to go back up to 6 when I first came back up to 3 months of being sick in the hospital. And then I went back down to, calibrated to 5, which is interesting because there's been this big debate on the automatic versus the manual. And automatic works great for a lot of people,
Hmm.
but you know, like when I row, I've done $4 million meter months, and that means that you're calibrating probably 4 times that month at 30 workouts. Never once in my years has it ever shifted ever on the automatic. When I go to do a manual, go up 1 or 2 right away.
Hmm.
So I think it just depends on how you run. And I was doing, 78% workouts, only 20% open roads for most of the time. When I do an open road most of the day, it's because I'm so sick, I just can't compete. I'm throwing up in a bucket, but I'm going to row 25,000. So it's an open road because you can stop and, I don't want to lose out on that. Pathetic. So, yeah. So, some of those, I've had a bad week last week, but I'm chasing. So I said, okay, you got to run minimum 25. Even if it takes you 2 or 3 times to come down during the day. So that's kind of the way I do it.
Okay, this is a disclaimer. Please do not throw up, and keep rowing.
Yeah, yeah, and you're right. You're absolutely right. And in my body, I've been hard on my body, and that's part of an issue. But after you did your 100,000 meter thing in September and blew me away, and said maybe I'll do 1 million meters next. I said, okay, I'm gonna do 1 million this month. So I started in September rowing. But the 26th, I got so sick, and I was at 900 something. I was real sick. I said, "There's no way I'm dropping out 3 days. I don't care if I have to get down and just use my hands only." So it was a gift. But the price I paid was when I got so sick, and for 3 months, I was in the hospital and I had COVID and all these other things, bacterial infections and other things going on. It's like it just destroyed me. I mean, when I came back, it's like, as you know, starting over is just as hard as starting up. You just have a stroke that but man, you just can't come back to 25,000. Most people can't. It's like, oh man, it's like Michael just said, it's like the road in mud. Came back to 5,000, said, man, this hurts. Yeah, 'cause your body, after 3 months and you're weak and you're still not probably 80%. So I started out slow and started working my way back.
Alright. So tell people what's a standard day for you? You said you go 5 days a week. Um,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I want that new counter they put up now where it measures, how if you meet your goal, So it's like, I don't know,
Mhm.
13, 14 weeks. So that's set at 5. So no matter what, if I'm dying before I go to bed, I'm going to go to bed and do 1,000 meters just so I don't think about my
your streak. Gotcha.
tree. It's like, well, it's, but so I'm going to go down. And you know how it is. Sometimes you think you're so sick, you go down to 1,000, you end up doing 5 or 10. But, it's like, man, it's not too bad. I'll get through that. You know how it is. So you just keep growing. So, but when I got in, I started out a little bit slow because got in January. And once I got the hang of it, and I started working them up. I didn't go from 0 to 25,000. I started working them up, went like everybody. Hey, it was a 3,000 day. I decided, hey, it was a 5,000 day. Then I really got into it. So once I got into it, from the day I got my rower, the 63 days I got my first million. Okay. 99 days I got 2 million. So now I'm rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I said, okay. And then I got 5 million, by September. And I said, okay. And then that's where I got kicked for the rest of the year. It's like, okay. So I started up again in January and rowing. So, at that point, I went and I asked for all the people that I could see on the leaderboard in the top 20 that had high meters. I asked them all to do all right. Like you and Daily Cycle, Spread the Pies, Beachhead, anybody that was rowing that had meters, I said, I can learn from you guys. And everybody generously enough accepted it. And that really helped me. So my rival screen right now is the 10 million club. I mean, I see everybody. It's like you said something. I see you guys every single day. I know where you're at. I watch you. I look on that rival screen every day and see where everybody's at. And when I was chasing you, because remember you asked me what my goal was for 23, I said, only one, that's you. So, it's like, I look at those rivals every day and say, okay, how much are they doing today? And I would figure it out. I said, how much do I have to do? And it's like, okay, so if I do this much more, I can catch the 8,000 a day. So, that's what I did. So I'm pretty calculated. Oh, I have a spreadsheet. I've kept care of my rowing every day since the day I've started on the Excel sheet. So now how much I rowed and I see patterns. And, but I set up real goals that I've had just a couple times, but it said, okay, calculating goals. What can I achieve? And, when you take a longer summer off, it sets those goals back. But, I said, okay, the first year I wanted to do 5 million and I got it 4 days before I got sick, but I told you I was running sick. I wanted to hit a goal, which I'm glad I did because I got back. So then I said, okay, here's 2023, what I want to accomplish. Well, number one, I want to catch Brian because I know if I catch Brian, I'll get 10 million because I know he's going to do that. So, it's like things like that drive me. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And I just kept watching those things. And then I sat down and said, okay, once I got to 10 million, I said, okay, this was pretty neat. I was number 5 in the door. Okay, this is cool. So then I sat down and said, okay, what do I want to achieve? So I know I don't have a long time left to row. I mean, my body's really taking a toll. So I said, okay, my goal is I want to row 15 million. And then I'll retire and just do it casually 3 days a week, maybe some 50K weeks, but no more 50K days. So I said, so I laid it out, and I laid out how many meters I had to do to get that. And I learned for me, I can never lay out meters per day. Some days are bad days, good days. So I did mine in 3-day cycles. I said, look, every 3 days, I'm going to do 100,000. That's it. I don't care if I have a good day where I do 45 or 50 and a bad day I do 20, but every 3 days, it's 100,000 to reach. So I've gotten ahead of that some. So I'm to the place now, if I row through, through mid-December, then for the last month, I could do 25K a day and still make it before my 2-year anniversary. So I've got to, I have it planned out. Maybe you get people like Scottish Princess in there, that starts cranking up the knuckles that just browse. They got, row again, so it's like, she's really helped me maintain my meter month because she's on the road. So that kind of stuff inspires me and helps me. And it just, it's fun for me. And it helps
Wow.
lose my weight. I'm maintaining it at 219. So, and again, I'm a junk food junkie, so that's really good that I'm able to maintain that. And for the most part, it really, as it helps a long motorcycle ride. I mean, I never ride with these young bucks. I want to do 1,000 miles a day. So, we do that. We leave here, and the first night you stop in South Dakota, those guys are 25, 26, Afghanistan, that's not going. God, I'm 75. It's hurt. Yeah, just keep going. But that really had helped me rowing and stuff for 2 reasons. My butt doesn't get sore in the saddle. And it just helps you physically be in better shape and have endurance. So that helps, on the other side, I think, for everything too.
Wow.
Great health benefits. Because, the people come to Ergatta for a lot of reasons. There's the competitors, and the competitors are either, rowing sprints like crazy, doing all the live races. Some of those guys, I just don't know how they go so fast. I tried, I can't. And my screen says I did a 106. That never happened. It was a 116 and a bleep back when Ergatta was having some problems when you first started up. Numbers flash all over. So that wasn't true. That was never me. But I said, okay. And then there's the long distance riders, people that really were in meter board. I said, okay, I'll give that a try. And then there's the people that are just done it for health, people that are just done it for fun. They have such a wide assortment of what draws people to Ergatta, which makes it fun. So
Mhm.
if you want to compete, you can compete. If you want to just have fun, you can run. If you want to take doing else, you can have fun. If you want to just go through it and do meet and you can do that stuff. And they spritz it up like in Christmas when they put snow rows in and the 12 days of Hanukkah. I mean, everybody goes down road then like this is fun stuff. Like, uh, that's what keeps me involved is if I was looking at that little meter screen like the old guys used to do on the C2, C4, I'd be saying, no, this ain't me. Numbers are fine, but I need to watch them.
Do you watch something on TV when you're rowing? You watch some
Well,
series?
I only can do that when I do open rows because I missed so many targets. I found out when, I get a Netflix, something exciting. Like I'm doing one the other day and I rode right through 2 sections and I missed it. It was like, oh, yeah. So yeah, when I'm not feeling good, I'll put on Netflix and do an open row and just row. And some days when I'm really bad, I'll take it easy. But, I always start out almost always 90% of the time, I'll start out and have a workout methods. I'll do the 4-minute warm up right away, just crank it out, get on, off, turn the fan on, situate that, get ready for it, get the waters, make sure I'm set up. And then I start rowing, the pulse workouts. And sometimes I do meteors when they give the charity that month. If you do so many meteors, because I'm into that, I like to give those. So I'll row meters instead. But most often, and now they put pulse in, and I would get phone calls because I do taxes and I have tax issues. So meters would never work for me because I wouldn't take the boat ride. So now with the polls, I might do more of those during tax season too. Don't worry about the rankings and just want the meters.
Yeah.
So, I think it really works out for I mean, I'm not trying to sell, I'm just saying, and now they have the new Ergatta Lite. Right now, it's like $500 off, so you can get in the door pretty cheap right now. And, I just think it's a good product, it's a good community, good sport. I've had a few issues with it. I've got it fixed within a day or 2. I had tape, the thing was rubbing on the tank and paddle and, things like that. Fixed same
And then you
day.
told them who you were and you rowed how many meters?
So yeah, but that's just fun. I mean, they do things like you row 2 main mirrors every year, you get the little hat and the coin, and I mean, they costumes fun with stuff like that. So I think that's fun. So yeah,
Well,
I realized that I wrote too much. You asked my day to day. My day runs from 20 to 50K a day. And again, it's how I feel some days. If I'm really bad and sick, I'm only gonna do 20. If I'm feeling really good, then I'll do a 50K day. I've done probably 10 or 20 of those, maybe more, a couple 60s. Never going to do 100 like you. But that's what's what my normal day is. So it's usually, workouts. And then what happens is if I'm going to row a 40 or more day, I don't do it in one setting. I can't. So what happens is I'll row a 30 and then go eat a lunch and go do some things with my dogs, take them out, take them walk, some thing and just do a bunch of other things in my back break, and then come back in 2 or 3 hours and crank out the other 10 or 20. And usually when I come back the second time, I'll do one, maybe a 45 or a 60-minute pulse workout. And then whenever I need to do left, I'll just do an open row. It's like a cool down. I'll do an open row for whatever I got to do to get the meters. So I know what I need to get at for that 3 days. So it's like, okay, I'm behind, I'm ahead, I can take off. So that's pretty much the way I track it.
what did you do on your days off?
Well, since September 1st, I've only taken one day off because I was getting behind on the goals. And again, I took that summer off, and it's like, all of a sudden I'm behind people that I was close to by 600,000 now, 700,000. I said, okay, well, I'm going to catch it. So I'm going to catch it before the year's over. Every stinking one, I'm going to catch him. I don't care what I have to run. Well, I would look at that rider list every day and cross the guy off. Very tired. Okay. Oh, finally got Brian. Okay. Daily cycles, and I just kept going through them. And I look at every day when I started going down. Okay, where am I? Even now, I look every day and say, where am I? So that kind of drives me to know where I want to be. Well, when I meet the goal, I'll be done at 6 in February and I want to get done with it. But I really need to step back, just taking a toll on me. Yeah, I can't start that. I don't plan on. I want to meet the goals and then watch other people have fun and you know, do it easy.
Yeah. Well, what's been fun is as the platform has grown, um, early on, you saw the same people all the time on the leaderboards for the race of the week. And, there's been an addition and a changing of the guard. Records are meant to be broken. Um,
Yeah.
your numbers are going to stand for a while, but there's some guy or girl out there that's putting up. Yeah.
Not even that long. Yeah, these young guys are coming up and at the beginning of the month, you see them cranking 50, 60 a day all the time, and they're doing them at a good rip, you know? So it's like, oh yeah, I know that. I just want to do what I have to do with my goals and then congratulate everybody else as they climb above them.
So what do you say to that person who's watching this, new to the sport, new to Ergatta? What do you say to the person who says, "I want to hit 10 million meters"? What advice can you offer?
My first and foremost advice is which I have failed at several times, is listen to your body. I mean, you can row yourself literally to death and stroke out probably if you want to. And that's proven detriment because, yeah, I made good numbers, but when you give up 3 months, you're giving up 2 to 3 million meters.
Mhm.
Like, was it really worth it? Probably not. But I believe what happens, in my belief, is you need to have a planned goal. Trying to do 10 million. Whatever your body and your time allows, family allows, you just say, how much can I reasonably row a week? Because, some people can't just row 200,000 a week or 100,000 a week. They just don't have the time. They have families, kids, they job. I get that. I don't have that. They're all grown. So you have to say, what can I do? And then you need to state it. I mean, I told you, I'm sitting, I'm looking at a piece of paper from my meters and I have it all the way to 15 meter already worked out what I need. Well, knowing when at that place. So if I fall behind or go ahead, I know where I'm at. It's not like, oh man, no, I know when I'm going to make 13 million. I know it'll be in 3 days. I mean, and it'll be in 3 days. So you have to have a plan. And the other thing I found, which I know is corny, but you need to have a commitment to follow your plans. You want to do that. And you're going to have to make sacrifice. I mean, do I want to go out and just sit out back watch the dogs for 2 hours and I want to row for an hour? I mean, that's, as you know, if you want to get to your goal, some things have to be sacrificed. I mean, that's my opinion to do it. And my goals are not easy goals. For me, they were lofty. I mean, I know that, but I think that's what drove me. It's because, I hate failing. But like, okay, well, if I have to adjust, I'll adjust. And, you'll miss some goals and that's okay. You just adjust. It's not the end of the world. I thought it was the first time. But you know what? This is a long game. If you're in it for the sprints, it's a short game, short and sweet, and you're cranking it out. Okay. If you're in it for you really want to distance, you used to tell me that it's a long-term game. I mean, it's year, 2 years. So, right now there's 6 guys in 10 million club. And when did you start rowing?
Oh, I started, I was an alpha tester for Ergatta, so I started in 2019. So
Okay.
I've been at it a
Wow.
long time, but my numbers have
Yeah, but
grown year over year.
so you're 4 years into it now, and there's only 6 people. So this is a challenge, and those people have had the. I mean, it's like a lot of people, like you and me, we take off because we do activities, other sports. It's like so. This isn't our whole world, but it's a big part of it, especially during the winter months. The numbers just stupid during the winter months because it's wrong, keep raining stuff. So but you have that plan, you do that, and then you make adjustments and you stick to it and celebrate your victories. I mean,
Absolutely.
people will help you if you just ask.
Absolutely. That's why I really appreciate in the community when people post that they hit half a million, a million,
Yeah,
50. It's great. And I don't want people to think that you have to row millions a year to make something yourself. This sport, this activity is going to help you regardless.
it is. Yes.
Be
And
happy.
50,000 meters, you see the people respond. There's a lot of long-term rowers in there. Congratulations, way to go. It's not like, well, that's nothing. I mean, I think they remember they were there. Everybody was there.
Everyone was there.
Everybody. So it's like, and everybody remembers that first 50 wasn't easy. Like that
Yeah.
first 100 wasn't. So it's like, yeah, I think everybody celebrates that. And that really helps. I mean, when they say, hey, that you really doing good, I like a little bit more. I mean, I think the support is essential to people succeed. And again, I'm surprised that this community has such good people support because I'm at lots of groups and you have seen it. So, and you're right. There's like, one time I looked, there was 19,300 on the leaderboard. So there's a lot of rowers out there internationally. So, it's a fun community.
Well, what's interesting is for all the rowers and accounts on the platform, the Facebook group has around 8,000 people. I want to spread the word that if you're not on the Facebook group, you're missing out.
Yeah.
It's really one of the incredible benefits of the platform is being a part of that group.
It is. I mean, I got on before I got it, and they did the stupid little things like saying, "Hey, only put your water to 17, get this what." I mean, even before I got my rower, I was already learning things from the Facebook community.
Yeah.
I mean, you see people all telling me I'm getting ready to do my first chop, and everybody responds, "Well, it's probably going to kill you, but don't give up." I mean, that's where everybody was, and it was in a rower. It's like 1,000 meters. Yeah, it's wow. I mean, so the help you're getting, you already know what you're into. It's not like you get on there and go, "Oh my God, I'm going to die." No, you're going to hurt that it look it. I mean, that stuff's priceless.
Absolutely. Well, it's incredible how we're gaining friends.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Facebook friends, but relationships are being built, and that's pretty incredible. I mean, just to meet you, and there's going to be a lot more. I mean, I'm hoping this podcast really takes off and share a lot of great stories. Um, it's fantastic. Can't say enough about it.
So how will this broadcast get released? I mean, how will you market it or how will you get it out there?
Well, this is this is my first podcast, so we're gonna figure it out as we go along. It's gonna be a YouTube, and it's gonna be on other podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, so you can listen to it or you can see us. So
Okay.
for those people listening or watching, this is what we look like. This is what we sound like. Um, I don't know if this is going to be the best material to row to, but you can put us on the TV and row to
Well,
a
I
pod.
mean, usually when I listen to broadcast something, I want to learn things. It's not as entertaining as I want to. I'm the kind of person. What can I gain from this? What can I get from that? But it's like Ergatta. They even have Spotify. Ergatta rooms music. So I mean, it's like
Mhm.
well, I pick up a music, put your headset in or whatever, and row right away. Anyway, and
Oh,
most
yeah.
people that are rowing have some kind of music. So
Well, what I don't want this podcast to ever be is to be clickbait. We're not going to debate which way the seat goes. We're not going to talk about water levels. We're just going to talk about stories. And I look forward to hearing other people's stories. I want to thank you for your time. I also, seeing Veterans Day weekend, thank you for your service. I'm glad you're representing.
I
That's
mean,
awesome.
today's
And
our birthday, Marine Corps birthday today, 284.
fantastic. Well, I just keep going. You say you're gonna dial it back after your goal. I don't know if I believe that knowing you, but
I'm gonna try. That's my goal.
you try. All right. Well, thank you very much. And fantastic.
I
So
appreciate all your guidance through the years, sir. I'm glad to meet you.
I'm glad to be there for you.
Take
Thank you
care.
very much.
Thank you.